everybody, it's Cooper here, and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about shelving and displaying your collection. Now, people have been asking a lot on Nintendo Age about, shelving and what to get, where to get it, how much you should look at spending, and basically just how to display their collection. Now, this video will not be important to a lot of people who have been collecting for a while, but new collectors always have questions about things that, older collectors might, forget that they ever had questions about it. And so, like I said, this video is not going to be for everyone, but, a lot of people have asked this question, so I figured I might as well put a video out and try and, help out some new collectors. So, when thinking about, starting a collection, or if you've already started and you're trying to decide how you want to either display your collection or how you want to store it, there's a couple different things that you need to take into consideration. First, if you're more of a gamer than a collector, you might not really care about displaying your collection. You might just care about storing it. And in that case, there's like Sterilite containers and stuff, and like plastic tubs you can get. They come in all different shapes and sizes. You can get like regular tubs, or you can get something like a plastic drawer unit that'll have like a couple plastic drawers in it. And those are great for storing it away. If you're more of a gamer and not much of a collector, you might not care about showing off the items, and you might just want to have them somewhere safe and out of sight. So you might want to think about something like that. They also have ones that are a little shorter that can fit like under a bed or something. So if you're thinking about just storing it and not displaying it, I would recommend getting some kind of plastic container that has a lid on it to, keep out dust and, kids or pets or anything like that, and especially keeping out water, any type of damage like that. You don't want to store your collection in a basement in cardboard boxes. If it's a temporary thing, do what you have to do, but if you're planning on keeping your collection stored like that, definitely put them in some sort of plastic container with a lid, and that will protect from a lot of different, hazards. So this video is more going to be about shelving. If you're just storing your collection, you don't have to worry too much about, how you're displaying it and what kind of shelving you need to get, and it can be pretty simple if you're just looking for some plastic containers. But I think most people who are watching this video are going to be interested in displaying their collection. So, like I said, there's many different ways you can do it, and I kind of have experience with each one, so I thought that it might be appropriate for me to talk about this and give some tips and information about it. So, first off, it kind of depends, what you do kind of depends on how big your collection is or how big you anticipate your collection becoming. If you're only going after a few games that you had from your childhood and you just want, maybe 30, 40 games, you probably don't need to buy a big shelf. You can just buy something small to just house your collection, and that's fine. If you're going for like a complete set for a system, or you're just collecting everything, then you might want to consider getting something big or multiple shelving units. So myself, I have a big shelf, the one behind me here. I actually built this shelf myself. I rhymed, but I built it myself with parts that I got all from Home Depot. All the lumber and the wood I got from there. Same with like any tools I needed, and screws and brackets and all that. And this shelf is 11 feet long by 10 feet tall, and this is kind of like one section here, like one column. There's 3 of these. This is the first one. There's 2 more, so it holds a lot of games. And this shelf was about $150 to build, and I kind of have some skills with building stuff. My dad and I used to build things when I was growing up, so I kind of had the skills to do it myself. And if you have the skills, you have the space, and you need a big shelf like that, I would definitely recommend building your own. Because not only can you build it to whatever specifications you need or want, you can also make it in, if you wanted it to hold a TV plus your collection, you could build something like that. And to find a big entertainment center with shelves on both sides could be very expensive. So not only could it save you money, but you can build it however you'd like. If you want like part of it to hold your Game Boy games, you can make the shelves a little smaller to hold them like that. So if you can, I definitely recommend building your own, but there are many other ways of acquiring shelves and you know, stuff like that. So like I said, this big one right here I built myself, but I also have a couple shelves that I've gotten through Craigslist deals and one from a friend who was moving and getting rid of some stuff. I have a couple shelves that I've bought from a few different stores, and I have some that I've actually found by the dumpster at my apartments. People move out and they don't want to take all their furniture, or they can't sell it in time, so they just put it by the dumpster. And I've actually found 2 different shelves that way. And the shelf that actually holds my Nintendo 64 collection, which is right here next to me, I actually found that by the dumpster, and it's a pretty big shelf, and it holds my entire N64 collection, which is very cool. So, like I said, I built this one. A couple of them were by the dumpster, which were free. The ones that I bought off Craigslist ended up being really cheap. I don't think I ever spent more than $20 on a shelf from Craigslist. But you also want to check out garage sales and thrift stores. Those are also great places to get shelves. I have been looking at Goodwill for about a month now, trying to find a shelf to hold all of my cartoon VHS tapes, because I've been buying a lot of those recently. And it seems like before I was looking for one, I saw them all the time. Now that I've started looking, I can't seem to find one, but there's always, you know, some type of furniture or shelving unit at Goodwill, so definitely check there. So, like I said, if you can build it, I would highly recommend doing that, but there are plenty of places where you can get shelves, you know, without having to build your own. And the ones that I bought from stores, I bought a bookshelf from Big Lots, which it came in pieces, and you know, there was assembly that was required with it, but that one was $30, and it's pretty tall. I have it over there, I'm looking at it right now, and it's about, I would say, 6 to 7 feet, somewhere in there. And I don't put like regular games on there, and this is something that I wanted to make sure I mentioned in the video, the difference between a DVD or a media shelf versus a bookshelf. Now, bookshelves are, there's more depth to them. So, for example, if you put a game on a shelf, I'll just turn around and use this as an example. This is more of a DVD style shelf. You can see that there's an 1.5 inches or so above the games, so you can reach your hand in there and pull out any game you want. And there's also an 1.5 inches of space between where the game goes and the front of the actual shelf. So it's kind of hard to show, but the space right here between my hand and the front here, there's about 1 inch or 1.5 inches of room there. So the games are right near the edge of the shelf, and they're very easy to, you know, see, and just easy to pull off a game that you want. But with a bookshelf, for example, this would come out much farther, because books are generally, you know, bigger than DVDs, so they need a lot more space. And what I see with people who store their games on bookshelves is that sometimes they end up double stacking them. You know, like Genesis games, they'll put like all the sports games in the back, and then they'll put the better games in front of it, just because they have that space. And, you know, that's something that you might want to consider. If you want to display just games, I would not recommend getting a bookshelf for that. But bookshelves are great for storing systems or accessories or like special edition games. They're definitely great for stuff like that. But for just regular, you know, GameCube games or NES games or whatever you want like that, I would definitely recommend a DVD or a media shelf. And, you know, a lot of the stuff that you might find at stores will be bookshelves. Just, there's tons and tons of shelves out there for sale, so don't be pressured to, you know, buy like the first one you see, because you might get something that you don't really need, or you can't really use the way you want to, and it might be kind of a waste of money. So just definitely check out all your options and make sure you're getting something that you really want, because it's going to hold your collection, which I'm assuming is something that you really enjoy if you're going, you know, far enough to put money into this and get shelving and all that. So, you know, if you value your collection, you most likely want it to look good when you're displaying it, so you might as well, you know, get good shelving that you actually want and can use properly. So there are a few places, you know, a few stores that you can get really good shelves at, and one place I wanted to mention is Target and Walmart, basically. These two locations are pretty much known for having like cheap prices on their stuff, and they both have shelving units available. And you know, of course, it's going to be cheaper if you can find something on Craigslist or at a garage sale or Goodwill. But you know, if you have the money, you don't mind buying something for retail price. You know, Target and Walmart and even IKEA, I suppose, have quality, you know, decent quality shelving units. And Target is the one that I know more about because there's a Target right by my house. I don't really go to Walmart that much, and I don't think I've ever been to an IKEA. But Target by my house, they have a couple shelving units that are the same as a couple that I have. And the two that I have two matching ones. I got them through Craigslist deals, and they ended up being like 15 or 20 bucks each. And I think they're like 70 brand new at Target. But it's called, the brand I think is Atlantic, and I think it's like an Atlantic 1024 or something like that. Excuse me if I, you know, am wrong with the actual title of the shelf, but the ones that I have to the left of me here, and one of them stores all my Wii games. The other one has all my Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. It has my strategy guides, my Game Boy systems, and my opened DS games. And these shelves are great. They have, you know, they're the kind of shelves where you can take the shelves out and move the pegs around so you can make certain shelves, you know, bigger or smaller. And that works great with like Game Boy games, for example, because, you know, they're a lot smaller than DVDs. So if you just want all your Game Boy games on there, you don't want to have like 5 inches of space on each shelf on top of the Game Boy games, you know, so you can move the shelves up to make them smaller and stuff like that. And yeah, so those are great. And I've never, like I said, I've never been to an IKEA, but I know that they're famous for having, you know, cheap furniture, and I'm sure they have some sort of shelving unit, so you can check that out. But, you know, I guess that's pretty much it. But just to recap, if you have the means, you have the skills, you have the space, the time, and the money, definitely think about building your own shelves, because, you know, this shelving unit that I built is the favorite shelving unit of mine that I have, you know. And when I move into a new house, hopefully when I move into a house one day, I'm planning on getting rid of all the shelves I have and building all custom shelving units for my collection so that everything matches and everything is nice and I can use up, you know, the most space. Because a lot of the shelves that I have, besides the one I built, a lot of the other ones, you know, they're only, you know, between like 4 and 7 feet tall, and the roof is much taller. This shelving unit here, there's about 10 inches of space between the top of it and the ceiling. So I made sure to use up, you know, almost as much space as I can. There's a little bit of room on top where I store all my box controllers, and those fit perfectly. But a lot of the other shelves, you know, there's 3 or 4 feet between the top of them and the ceiling. And that does give me some room to store, like, accessories and box systems and everything like that. But it'd be much more space efficient if I just had shelves that went all the way to the ceiling to store games, and then I could store, you know, controllers and accessories and systems elsewhere. So, like I said, definitely recommend building your own shelves if you can. And if you need like tutorials or, you know, walkthroughs or anything about building shelves, you know, just type it in on YouTube. There's tons of videos that tons of people have made about building custom shelving units. You can also look on Instructables or any other kind of websites like that if you need some help. And if you don't have the skills yourself, you know, you can always ask, you know, family or friends. You know, there's a good possibility someone you know has some sort of skills related to building with wood and stuff like that. And it's honestly not that hard. So, you know, take a crack at it. These shelves are the first thing that I built really on my own, and they work perfect. So, yeah. I hope this video was a little bit of help to some of you guys out there. Like I said at the beginning, I know that it's not going to be useful to everyone, especially longtime collectors, but I know there's a lot of younger viewers that watch my videos and stuff, and a lot of people that just get into collecting recently and then have found my channel and stuff. So I like to put out these videos every once in a while to kind of try and help, you know, new collectors and just give some tips and some advice and stuff that I've learned myself over the years, you know, collecting and, you know, all this kind of stuff. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.